Incredible woman discovers a life-changing way to calm a billionaire's baby on the subway. The subway car jostled fiercely, a physical reminder of the chaos that was Jamie's life. Dressed in faded jeans and a threadbare jacket, she clutched the overhead rail, her knuckles white as the train lurched forward. Her heart raced not from the usual anxiety of rush hour, but because of Mia and Ethan waiting at home. She was their whole world, and they depended on her. Every day, she rode the packed subway to juggle 2 jobs, missing the days when dreams didn't feel impossibly distant. On this particular afternoon, the car felt tighter than a tin can. Heat enveloped her, a wave of body scents and murmuring voices hanging over her like a low cloud. Jamie scanned the masses, edging closer to the door, her thoughts trailing back to the comforting sounds of Mia's laughter and Ethan's playful shouts bouncing off the walls of their cramped Brooklyn apartment. Just as her mind wandered, she noticed a commotion near the center of the car. A sharp cry pierced through the noise. Her gaze landed on a suited man probably in his 30s desperately pacing back and forth, trying to soothe a squirming baby in his arms. The baby's wails cut through Jamie's heart. She could feel his frustration radiating off him like heat from a fire, and all she could think about was how many times she had held her own children in the middle of similar storms. Tyler, the man in the suit, looked so out of place amidst the chaos, his expensive clothes screaming privilege while he struggled, sweat forming on his brow. For a fleeting moment, Jamie glimpsed her life reflected in his desperation, an unspoken plea echoing between them. Wasn't she just as lost? Without fully knowing why, she found herself moving closer. As the train rattled, Jamie began to hum softly a lullaby her mother had sung to her as a child. The melody flowed like a river of comfort. Her voice was smooth but carried a weight of longing and love. The sounds shifted, and suddenly, the grumbling murmurs of the crowd faded, replaced by the gentle harmonies of her song. Noticing them, Tyler stopped, his expressions melting from frustration to surprise. He looked at her, a flicker of gratitude dancing in his eyes. The baby paused, eyes widening as if enchanted. The cries fell silent, replaced by a tranquil calm. For those few moments, the subway transformed. It was no longer a metal tube of chaos, but instead a cocoon of connection. The sights and sounds blurred as if the world was narrowing down to the 2 of them. Jamie locked eyes with Tyler, warmth pooling in her chest. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue, but as the reality of life outside the subway crept back in, both Jamie and Tyler found themselves grappling with the unpredictability of their lives. Overwhelmed by the sudden attention from onlookers and the world outside, Jamie felt embarrassment wash over her. This encounter had changed everything, but as she rode on, the stakes felt higher than ever. Questions clawed at her mind. Was she ready to step into a new world? Or would she retreat back into the shadows, fearful of what lay ahead? The subway doors opened, and with them, the vibrant New York life pulsed like a heartbeat waiting to be discovered. The future loomed bright yet uncertain, leaving both Jamie and Tyler to wonder what would come next. Would kindness bridge the chasm between their lives? As the train rolled forward, they were left in suspense, standing on the edge of change. Jamie stepped off the subway into the bustling chaos of Manhattan, her heart still racing from the encounter. The energy of the city was palpable, swirling around her like a fevered dream. People rushed past, their faces a blur of determination. Yet, inexplicably, she felt a heaviness in her chest. The warmth she had shared with Tyler felt fragile, like glass, and all it would take was a single misstep to shatter it. She walked toward the familiar sight of her favorite coffee shop, needing the comfort of a steaming cup as much as the buzz of caffeine. The aroma was welcoming, tipping her into the comforting rhythm of routine. As she waited for her order, her thoughts drifted again to Tyler and the baby. How strange it felt to be connected to a person so different from her. The enormity of their worlds seemed insurmountable, yet all because of a simple song. "Order for Jamie," the barista called, snapping her back to reality. She took the cup and stepped back outside, the hot ceramic warming her palms. Sipping carefully, she let the steam rise to her face, savoring the moment of peace. But as she turned to head home, her mind was racing. Would Tyler remember her? Would he see the value in a song shared amidst the chaos? In that moment, she decided she couldn't just let the connection fade into obscurity. She wanted to know more about him, to bridge the gap she felt after leaving the subway car. With determination, she pulled out her phone to look him up. As she typed Tyler and Billionaire into the search bar, she felt ridiculous. The thought of a simple woman like her looking into the life of a rich businessman felt absurd. Yet, something was pulling her forward, a curiosity, a need to understand the life they had both momentarily touched. But as she scrolled through articles, a nagging question seeped in. Would he be interested in knowing her, the single mother struggling to pay bills while chasing wild dreams? She squashed the thought down deep, refusing to let self-doubt dictate her actions. Jamie arrived home to the sound of laughter echoing from the living room. Mia and Ethan were sprawled across the floor, coloring and giggling together. She felt a swell of love wash over her as she watched their innocence ignite the small space, laughter breaking like sunlight through the clouds. In this chaotic mess of crayons and drawings, she found herself again. A mother, a protector, a dreamer. But did dreamers stop dreaming when their lives felt unmanageable? The doorbell rang suddenly, making her jump. It was unexpected, and given how her life had unfolded lately, she hesitated before answering. Could it really be the path back to Tyler? Or just another distraction? Taking a deep breath, she opened the door slowly. And standing there with a nervous smile was Tyler himself, looking more vulnerable than ever. "Hi, I hope I'm not bothering you," he stammered, holding a small gift bag in his hands, almost like a peace offering. Her heart raced with possibilities. Would today be the day that they truly connected? Questions raced through her mind. What was in the bag? Why was he here? Was this the start of an adventure or an even deeper entanglement that could change everything? Jamie's heart pounded as she stood in the doorway, trying to process the whirlwind of emotions swirling inside her. Here was Tyler, the man who had evoked something long dormant in her, now standing just a breath away. "Hi," she managed, unable to hide a small smile. Yet, she hadn't quite prepared for the sight of him. His disheveled hair and a hint of doubt in his eyes tugged at her heartstrings. "What's in the bag?" she asked, glancing briefly at the colorful gift bag clutched nervously in his hands. Tyler looked down, swallowing hard before meeting her gaze. "It's a little something for the kids and maybe for you too." He lifted the bag slightly, showcasing a glimpse of a plush toy peeking out. Her stomach flipped. The unexpected kindness sent warmth through her chest. "That's really sweet of you. Just thought it might brighten your day." He paused, his eyes drifting to the chaotic world behind her, where laughter erupted. "I hope I'm not intruding." Not at all. "Please come in," she said quickly, stepping aside. Tyler entered, taking in the living room full of scattered crayons and half-finished drawings. Mia and Ethan glanced up, eyes wide with curiosity, instantly captivated by this new guest. "Hey, kiddos," Tyler said, his nervousness fading as he squatted to their level. A shy smile spread across Mia's face as she clutched her coloring book closer. Ethan, emboldened by the attention, brandished a crayon like a baton. "Look, I can color outside the lines like a pro." Tyler laughed, the sound rich and warm, shattering the walls of formality between them. "That's incredible. A true artist." Jamie watched, a mix of awe and gratitude washing over her. To see Tyler's softer side was a treasure. It made him feel less untouchable, more human. The distance she had felt moments ago began to shrink. "Can I color too?" Tyler asked, holding out a hand toward the crayons as if requesting permission. "Sure, but you have to use the red crayon," Ethan declared matter-of-factly, holding it up like a prize. "Red it is." Tyler chuckled, settling onto the floor beside the children. This simple scene lifted Jamie's heart. They were coloring together, filling in outlines with bright strokes, laughter mingling like music in the tiny apartment. For a moment, everything felt perfect, her world colliding beautifully with his. But just as the atmosphere warmed, her thoughts drifted back. What would happen when they left this cozy bubble? What secrets lurked beneath Tyler's charming smile? I just wanted to ask. Tyler interrupted her thoughts, looking up with sincerity. What was it you said on the subway that caught my attention? That I should know something? His question hung heavy in the air, stirring vulnerability within her. She hesitated, the weight of her truth pressing at the edges of her lips. Did she dare reveal her struggles? Could she trust that this connection extended beyond the surface? I just meant that sometimes life throws you surprises, and you never know the impact you can have on someone else's life, Jamie replied finally, her voice softer but firm. Tyler studied her for a moment, a flicker of understanding brightening his eyes. I think I know what you mean. Before they could dive deeper, the playful screech of Ethan broke through. He had created chaos with the crayons, smudging red across the paper like a wild artist. In that moment of levity, Jamie glanced at Tyler, a silent question passing between them. How could they navigate this beautiful mess together? But as laughter filled the room, Jamie couldn't help but wonder. Would vulnerability strengthen their bond or push him away? Just as she pondered this, Tyler's phone buzzed loudly. He glanced at it, the brightness of the screen contrasting with the happiness encapsulating the room. All at once, Jamie felt a sense of dread. What could that message mean for them? Jamie's heart raced as she watched Tyler pick up his phone. The warmth in the room dimmed, uncertainty surfacing like a storm cloud threatening to overshadow the joy they had just shared. He read the message, his face tightening, the lightness in his eyes flickering like a candle in the wind. Sorry, I'll be right back. With that, he stepped away, his voice trailing off. Jamie's stomach twisted as the space between them suddenly felt vast and lonely. Mia, sensing the change in energy, looked up from her drawing. What's wrong? Nothing, sweetie, just grown-up stuff, Jamie said, forcing a smile. She turned her attention back to the partially colored drawings as Tyler moved across the room, his back towards her. The laughter of the children rang hollow in the silence that followed, a happy sound echoing in a suddenly dimming atmosphere. The chaos that Ethan had created on the table dulled in comparison to Jamie's racing thoughts. Was he okay? Did it have something to do with her? She bit her lip, wrestling with the nagging worry as she watched Tyler pace back and forth, his fingers tapping an anxious rhythm on the phone. Where did you get that red crayon anyway? Ethan asked suddenly, breaking through her spiral of anxiety. He pointed to the large streak of red across his own coloring page. Jamie laughed lightly, needing the distraction. Good question. Seems magical. Doesn't it? She leaned over to join them, and for a brief moment, she lost herself in their world of colors and giggles. But in her chest, a hard knot remained. She didn't want to overthink it, but how could she not? Was Tyler's message a call to duty, pulling him back into a world he didn't want to leave? Or was it something more personal? Emergencies often meant family, and family was complicated. After what felt like a small eternity, Tyler returned, his expression less troubled but the air thick between them still. Jamie could see he had pushed aside whatever concern had momentarily pulled him away, but the flicker of tension still lingered. Everything okay? Jamie asked, her voice tentative. Yeah, just a work thing. I'm sorry for that. He rubbed the back of his neck, a telltale sign of his discomfort. I didn't mean to. It's fine, she interrupted softly. We can just enjoy our time. Jamie offered a genuine smile, trying to reassure them both. He nodded but didn't quite meet her gaze. She could sense the weight returning to his shoulders. The room was filled with the sounds of crayon on paper, but now they felt muted, overshadowed by the tension threading through their small space. Before she could comment again, Tyler cleared his throat. I know we were talking about surprises earlier. His tone shifted slightly, gaining a hint of determination. I want to share something with you. Maybe not right now, but soon. I think we should talk about everything. Everything? Her heart flipped again, the word feeling heavy and light all at once. Yeah. I just think there's more going on beneath the surface for both of us. He locked his eyes on hers, a spark illuminating the uncertainty. Jamie's breath caught in her throat. Did he feel the pull too? The connection that danced between them, teasing at the edges of vulnerability? Suddenly, a loud crash interrupted them. Mia had accidentally toppled a stack of coloring books, sending them flying across the floor. Laughter erupted, breaking the thick atmosphere. Jamie laughed too, shaking her head. Looks like life's surprises are not just for adults. Tyler smiled, the tension easing just a little. But a storm was brewing below the surface, and she could sense it. They both had walls, and sooner or later, those walls would need to come down. As they joined the kids in picking up the mess, Jamie felt a new determination. This was it. This would be the moment she'd finally dare to confront the truth. The truth that had been hidden too long. What did that conversation mean for them? Would uncovering their secrets now draw them closer or rip them apart when the real challenge finally emerged? Jamie's heart still pounded as laughter filled the air. Echoes of Mia's giggles wrapping around her like a warm blanket. But beneath the lightness of the moment, a heaviness remained, pulling at her heartstrings. As they gathered the scattered coloring books, she caught a glimpse of Tyler's face turned toward her. His eyes still guarded, yet daring to linger a moment too long. It was a small thing, a flicker of connection amid the chaos, but it sent a wave of warmth rushing through her. Once the floor was cleared, Mia jumped back into her drawing, while Ethan returned to his vibrant scribbles with the magic red crayon. Jamie stole a moment to steal sneak glances at Tyler, who stood a bit apart, fiddling with the edge of a coloring book. She could almost see the thoughts churning behind his furrowed brow. "Are you okay?" she finally asked, her voice barely above the chatter of the kids. "Just trying to figure things out," he replied, his face softening a little. "You know how life can be overwhelming." She nodded, feeling the truth in his words resonate with her. Life had its way of throwing unexpected challenges, and though they were at opposite ends of the spectrum, she understood the weight of those challenges. "That's why we're here, right?" Jamie said, trying to lighten the mood, "to escape reality. Just for a bit." His lips formed a soft smile, but his eyes still held shadows deep within. "Right?" As much as she wanted to delve into the meaning of everything, she sensed now wasn't the time. Instead, she suggested they all play a game. To her relief, Tyler agreed, his hesitance fading as they transitioned from anxious adults to playful participants in the world of childhood. "Okay, how about a coloring contest? Let us see who can create the wildest drawing," Jamie declared, her excitement infectious. Ethan and Mia cheered enthusiastically, and a competition soon erupted. Soon, crayon colors flew across the pages as creative ideas burst free. Jamie felt the tension gradually loosening its grip on her, and she noticed Tyler joining in, laughing and encouraging the kids. For glimmers, the burdens seemed less pronounced. But as they finished up and the kids unveiled their creations, Jamie caught Tyler's eye again. She sensed the moment was close. He was on the precipice of saying something significant, and she felt a rush of hope. What if the conversation could lead to the answers they both needed? "I really like what you've done there, Tyler," she said, nodding toward his wild swirl of colors, trying to spark the conversation. "I think it captures the chaos perfectly." He chuckled, but the laughter faded quickly. "Yeah, well, sometimes chaos is just easier to paint over, don't you think?" That simple phrase hung in the air between them. The laughter from the kids blurred into background noise, and the weight of his words lingered long after. A veil of seriousness shrouded them, a sign of the deeper layers yet to be revealed. "Tyler," she started, her heart hammering again as she realized how much she longed for him to open up. "Can we talk now? About everything? We can take a break from the noise. Just us." He hesitated, his expression shifting like shadows in a dimly lit room. She felt the energy change, the air thickening as possibilities loomed. Would he take the leap with her, or would fear keep him tethered to his walls? "Maybe," he said slowly, glancing toward Mia and Ethan, who were immersed in their own world. "Starbucks later?" "Starbucks sounds perfect," she replied, a spark of relief lighting her heart. The hard knot in her chest eased a fraction. As they gathered their things to leave, Jamie was infused with determination. She could make this happen. But the question nagged at her: what were they really heading toward? Would the truth open doors, or push them further apart? The moment they stepped outside, a gust of wind whipped through, ruffling their hair and sending leaves swirling around them. Jamie shivered, but this time it was not from the chill in the air. It was something else, a feeling of impending change, a whisper of what was to come. For the first time, uncertainty felt a little lighter, as if the wind was carrying away the shadows. What would come next? Would the depth of their conversation transform their connection forever, or would it expose cracks neither was prepared to face? The drive to Starbucks was a blend of excitement and apprehension. Jamie could feel the energy buzz around her, shared only with Tyler, who remained quiet, steering the car through the bustling streets. The clamor of the city was vivid, a stark contrast to the intimate moment they were about to share. As they pulled into the parking lot, Jamie's stomach fluttered. She had fantasized about this moment opening up, laying bare everything that had been brewing beneath the surface. What if Tyler didn't feel the same? "Ready?" Tyler asked, his voice soothing, laced with curiosity. She nodded, drawing in a breath. Yes, just a simple word, but it held the weight of 1,000 unspoken feelings. They entered the cafe, the comforting aroma of roasted coffee beans wrapping around them. Facing the counter, Jamie felt a familiar warmth from the ambience. They ordered their drinks, her heart racing as if every sip would reveal new truths. A mocha for her, a classic black coffee for him, and they navigated to a small corner table, away from prying eyes and the chaos of their surroundings. For a moment, silence enveloped them. Jamie focused on the steam rising from her cup, trying to gather her thoughts. Tyler watched her, the tension in his posture revealing how much this moment mattered to him too. "Okay," she began, her voice steadying. "Let us talk. What has been bothering you?" His gaze flickered toward the window, watching the world outside. "It's a little complicated, I'm not sure how to say it." "Start anywhere," she urged gently, leaning in just a little closer. "I'm here." He took a deep breath, eyes narrowing as he forced himself to tread into the open. "I guess I've just had a lot on my mind lately. Family, expectations. I don't feel like I don't fit in the mold they created for me." Jamie leaned forward, nodding in understanding. "Sometimes we feel lost in what others want for us. It's okay to carve your own path." He looked at her, surprised, as if he hadn't realized she had already been through similar battles. "It's more than that. Everyone assumes that because I have certain privileges, I must have it all together. But the truth is I feel trapped." The weight of Tyler's confession hit her hard. She could see the fight simmering in his eyes, the struggle for authenticity amidst the clamor of expectations. "You don't have to wear a mask for anyone. Just be you. That's more than enough." Their eyes locked in a moment that stretched like eternity. Jamie felt her heart pounding against her ribcage. Was this the turning point they needed? As if sensing her thoughts, Tyler's expression softened, revealing vulnerability that had been previously concealed. "What about you, Jamie? How do you cope?" he asked, genuinely interested. With a sigh, she allowed herself to share. "I find peace in little things, drawing, writing. But mostly it's about letting myself be felt. I've learned it's okay to be vulnerable. It's when we share our same heartbreaks that connections deepen." He smiled, a mix of gratitude and admiration. "You're incredible, you know that?" Her heart fluttered at the words. But before she could reply, the cafe door swung open, and a rush of patrons spilled in, shattering their moment. Jamie felt a twinge of panic. They were on the brink of something raw and real, and external noise threatened to drown it out. "Let us go for a walk," she suggested impulsively, feeling urgency in her gut. "I want to hear more about everything." He nodded, determination lighting his eyes anew. As they stepped outside, the cool air filled their lungs, and the noise of the city faded. They started walking side by side, the weight of the world falling away, one step at a time. But with every stride, A thought nagged at Jamie. What would happen if they opened the floodgates of their souls? Would they both sink into the depths or emerge transformed? The sun dipped low, casting long shadows behind them. Jamie felt something magical brewing in the air. What could this connection blossom into? And as if reading her thoughts, Tyler turned to her, hesitation swirling in his eyes once more. The air between them thickened, charged with unspoken words. Tyler's eyes searched Jamie's, a flicker of vulnerability dancing in his gaze. I want to share more, but it's overwhelming, he admitted, his voice shaking slightly. I get it, she replied softly, her heart racing with empathy. We don't have to rush. Just take your time. They continued walking, their footsteps matching the rhythm of their burgeoning connection. Sometimes I worry that if I say too much, I'll scare you away, he confessed, the sincerity in his tone tugging at her heartstrings. Tyler, she said, stopping briefly to challenge him with her gaze. You want to scare me. I want to hear it all. He grinned, but it was bittersweet, as if the words weighed heavily on him. Okay, let us do this. They walked further, passing bright store windows and flickering streetlights casting a warm glow. The city buzzed around them, but Jamie felt wrapped in a bubble, just her and Tyler. I've always felt like I had to be perfect. My family, it's like they've mapped out my whole life. College, career, everything. His sigh was heavy. But every day, I wake up feeling like I'm wearing a costume. Jamie's heart ached for him. What if you took the costume off? She nudged gently. What if you lived for yourself, not them? His brow furrowed, pondering her words. You make it sound so simple. Can be simple if you let it, she offered, a hint of hope in her voice. You could choose a path that reflects who you are. Tyler's steps slowed. But who am I, Jamie? I've been told my whole life who to be. What if I don't know? Her breath caught. So you explore. You find out. It's an adventure no map needed. You might surprise yourself. In that moment, Jamie wanted to throw her arms around him, to let him know that beneath every layer of expectation, he was enough as he was. Instead, they strolled onward, and her words hung between them, a tentative promise. Maybe you can help me, he suggested, a playful note returning to his voice. Be my actual guide on this adventure. What makes you feel most like yourself? Her eyes sparkled. Art, it's everything to me. It's how I breathe. I'd love to show you. They'll laugh at me, he interjected, a hint of fear creeping back in. Who cares? She exclaimed, her excitement bubbling. It's not about them. It's about you. We can find a place where you'll feel free. Tyler searched her face, uncertainty battling hope. You really believe that? I do, Jamie said, her voice steady. We're all just figuring it out. And the best connections come from being honest. He fell silent then, the weight of realization settling over him, intertwining with the warmth of Jamie's presence. They paused at a small park, the last warm light of the day bending around them. The sunset cast a golden glow, a perfect backdrop for this delicate moment. What if we tried this together? He asked quietly, vulnerability sewing the seams of his voice together. Together, she echoed, feeling the weight of their agreement. Yet deep within her, doubts flickered. Was their newfound connection strong enough to withstand the storms ahead? What if the world around them didn't bend the way they hoped? As they stepped closer, an uncertain laughter danced between them, a fragile bridge over deep waters. Would they cross it safely, or would the current sweep them away? Together, they took a breath as the sun dipped lower, seemingly signaling the start of more than just a new beginning but an impending moment of truth. The sun sank deeper, casting shadows that flickered like unanswered questions. Jamie felt the weight of the moment pressing in around her. She wanted to reach out to pull Tyler closer, yet hesitated. It was a dance of discovery, and they were both learning the steps. Let us find a place, she suggested, her words holding an excitement she couldn't suppress. Somewhere we want to feel watched. Tyler nodded slowly, his eyes shifting toward the fringes of the park. Yeah, I think I'd like that. They walked deeper into the park, where the trees whispered secrets and the path twisted gently like an old song. Jamie could see him visibly relax, a tension easing from his shoulders. She smiled to herself, feeling the rightness of their direction. Right there, Jamie pointed towards a small clearing, lined with benches and illuminated by the fading light. Perfect, don't you think? Definitely, Tyler agreed, his voice warmer now, the playful tone edging back in. They settled onto one of the benches, their knees almost touching. The thrill of shared space sent sparks alight in her chest. Okay, so what's your first step on this adventure? Jamie posed, looking at him with genuine curiosity. Tyler took a deep breath, a mix of anticipation and anxiety swirling in his eyes. I guess starting with what I love, he began, the thought running through his mind like ripples on water. I've always thought I wanted to become a doctor, you know? People respect it, it's safe, but what if I like to cook instead? Jamie's heart skipped a beat. Wow, cooking. That's awesome. You should totally explore that. Really? I mean, it sounds silly. It's not silly at all, she insisted, leaning closer. Food is a huge part of culture, and you can express yourself through flavors. That's raw creativity. Their laughter mingled in the crisp evening air, the soft sound wrapping around them like a cozy blanket. For a moment, it felt like nothing else mattered, just them, this clearing, and the possibilities blooming between them. Maybe we could cook together sometime? He asked, the glow of excitement returning to his eyes. It was as if he could finally see a path before him, shining with potential. I'd love that. We can explore all the wild recipes, Jamie offered, voice chiming with enthusiasm. Could be so fun. Okay. I want to try different cuisines, find a style that feels right. His gaze held hers fully, a mutual understanding brewing. But behind that spark of joy, Jamie sensed something deeper, an urge to break free and be real. When Tyler looked down, the flicker of uncertainty returned. Do you really think it's okay to just change everything? He asked, soft but heavy. Change is scary, she replied, her voice steady, but sometimes it's necessary. You deserve to live for yourself, remember? Tyler chewed on her words, the vulnerability weighing in. What if I mess it up? It's part of the adventure, Jamie assured him, determination simmering. Learning from mistakes can be liberating. As daylight faded, enveloping them in twilight, they stayed locked in that moment, two souls embarking on a journey towards authenticity. Tyler's breath caught, a smile dancing across his lips, but Jamie sensed a new wave of tension brewing beneath. Just then, the distant sounds of laughter echoed through the park, drawing their attention to a group of friends enjoying the evening. Jamie's heart squeezed at the sight. Could they find acceptance amidst the chaos of conformity? Do you think they are living for themselves? Tyler asked, eyes flickering towards the group, uncertainty in his gaze. I hope so, but it's hard to tell just by looking, she replied thoughtfully, feeling the weight of their decisions pressing in once more. Maybe we should just invite them over, share a meal and see? Tyler suggested, a mix of hope and anxiety in his tone. Jamie felt a rush of thrill at his spontaneity but also fear creeping in. What if they don't accept us? She whispered, her confidence wavering for a moment. Would their journey stand firm against the judgment of the outside world? Tyler grabbed her hand, squeezing it tightly. They don't know us, not yet. But I want to find out. Jamie's heart raced as he leaned in closer, watching the world merge around them with possibilities and challenges. Was this the moment they crossed that fragile bridge? The night hung heavy with questions, and for a brief, breathless moment, the future seemed beautifully uncertain. Jamie's heart pounded like a drum as she looked into Tyler's eyes. The energy of the moment surged between them, a mix of courage and fear. Okay, she said, her voice barely a whisper. Let us invite them. Tyler grinned, a fleeting shadow of doubt melting away. He stood up and brushed off his shorts, excitement igniting a spark in his eyes. All right, here goes nothing. He stepped toward the group, brimming with nervous energy. Jamie remained on the bench for a moment, her heart in her throat. She watched him approach the laughter, so carefree, yet she felt like an anchor weighing her down. Hey, mind if we join you? Tyler asked, a little louder than intended, his voice shiny with hope. The group paused, glancing over. A girl with bright blue hair was the first to respond, her face breaking into a welcoming smile. Sure, come on over. We could use more food anyway. Their invitation draped a warmth over Jamie, but her legs hesitated. What if they didn't really want them there? What if she faced the very judgment they were trying to escape? Tyler turned back, looking at her with an encouraging nod. Jamie took a deep breath, stood up, and with each step toward the group, she felt the walls of her insecurities start to crumble. Hey, I'm Jamie, she said, waving a bit awkwardly as they joined the group sitting on the grass. They were sprawled out with takeout containers scattered around like colorful confetti. I'm Ellie. The girl with blue hair introduced herself, pointing to the others. This is Matt, Sam, and Priya. We just ordered a ton of Thai food. Want some? Tyler glanced at Jamie, who nodded enthusiastically. Yes, please. We can share some ideas about cooking too, Tyler replied, his voice gaining another layer of confidence. As the laughter rose and stories began to intertwine, Jamie felt a soothing warmth creep into her heart. She and Tyler contributed recipes to the mix, their shared excitement drawing the group closer. Wait, did you say you want to cook? Priya asked, her eyes bright with interest. You've got to try making pad thai sometime, it's my favorite. Jamie's laughter mingled with the others as Tyler leaned in, playfully arguing about the best technique between stir-frying and boiling. It's all about the flavors you bring together, he said, his excitement illuminating the dusk. But just as the conversation flowed effortlessly, a slight chill came over Jamie. She caught Matt's skeptical gaze lingering on Tyler when he wasn't looking, eyes that seemed to question their authenticity, their place here. Could they truly be accepted? With the laughter echoing around her, Jamie wasn't sure if it was just her imagination, or if it was real. She clenched her fists in her lap, trying to remind herself that vulnerability was part of the journey. But doubt began to weave itself into her heart like a sneaky vine. Do you think they actually like us? She whispered to Tyler as they settled into the gathering. He turned to her, his expression softening. I think they're just getting to know us. Sometimes it just takes a little time. Time and unknown that brought both comfort and a tinge of fear. Jamie looked around at the easy laughter, the way the group glanced at each other with warmth. It made her heart ache for a moment. Could she really let herself in? As the conversation swayed like trees in the wind, she felt a weight lifting. Perhaps this was how it began, a journey into connection and acceptance, an opportunity to be seen for who they truly were. But just then, the bubbling joy was sliced through by an unexpected shout. Oh, we've got trouble, Matt exclaimed, his laughter cut short as he pointed toward the nearby trees. Looks like someone got frightened. Jamie's heart raced as she turned to see a small dog, a golden retriever pup, barreling straight towards them, tail wagging wildly. Would it bring chaos to their new friendship? Or was it just another step into the unknown they needed to embrace? Oh, Tyler echoing Matt, grinning at Jamie with that spark in his eye, beckoning at the possibility that lay ahead. Caught between surprise and laughter, Jamie wondered, could this be just the beginning? What if the evening unfolded in unimaginable ways they hadn't prepared for? Would the bonds formed here withstand whatever arrived next? As the golden retriever charged into the group, barking joyfully, Jamie felt a wave of laughter bubble up inside her. Looks like we've got some unexpected company, she exclaimed, her heart lifting with every wag of the pup's tail. Tyler's laughter blended into the cheerful chaos as he reached down to greet the new arrival. Hey there, buddy. You just made our party way more interesting. The dog's slobbery tongue licked at Tyler's face, and for a brief moment, all apprehensions melted away. Mia, drawn in by the commotion, let out a delighted squeal. Can I pet him? Absolutely, Jamie encouraged, feeling the warmth of belonging wrap around her like a blanket. As Mia knelt to pet the puppy, Jamie glanced over at Tyler. His eyes sparkled with joy, the weight of their earlier conversation momentarily eclipsed by this simple, happy moment. She felt a surge of gratitude for him, for sharing this with her, for being brave enough to step out of his comfort zone. The group erupted into playful chaos as everyone took turns petting the furry interloper. Laughter echoed around, soothing Jamie's earlier doubts. The evening felt electric, charged with possibility. Food's getting cold. Priya called out, and the group settled back down onto the grass, plates turning again to the delicious pad thai. As they feasted, stories flew between them like fireflies in the twilight, funny mishaps in the kitchen, daring culinary experiments, and heartwarming tales connecting them one by one. Jamie watched Tyler as he animatedly described his latest failed attempt at homemade pasta. The way his eyes lit up reminded her of when she used to dream so fiercely about her own passions before life had unfolded into a tangled mess. She realized this exchange held something deeper. It was life unfurling around them, raw and real. Feeling inspired, Jamie shared her own story about a painting that hadn't gone according to plan, how she had intended to manifest a sunset but ended up with an abstract swirl of colors instead. It turned into something beautiful, just like our lives can when we dare to let go. She laughed. Tyler nodded, appreciating her revelation. It's like cooking. Sometimes the mistakes make the best dishes. Just like us, you know? There was a note of camaraderie between them, a shared understanding that blurred the lines of their differing backgrounds. Meanwhile, Jamie couldn't shake the feeling of eyes lingering on them. Matt's gaze, skeptical yet curious, meandered back and forth. It sent a wave of doubt flickering through Jamie, but then Tyler caught her eye, sending a reassuring grin her way. "What's the worst that could happen?" he seemed to say. As the conversations deepened, Jamie witnessed barriers melting away, walls that had seemed insurmountable at first. Connections began to solidify, like threads woven into a rich tapestry of friendship, sharing, and laughter. But the night wasn't finished throwing surprises their way. Just as Jamie felt the atmosphere shift toward something more profound, the puppy made another appearance, playfully bounding into a full-on tip over into Mia's lap, leaving her squealing with laughter. "Looks like he loves you," Jamie quipped, her heart swelling with affection for this little family she was finding herself a part of. Tyler leaned in closer. "And I really love how you're shining right now." The sincerity in his voice sent a thrill racing through her. "Thank you for being here, Tyler. I've needed this." "Me too," he replied, sincerity radiating from him. "I never thought I could feel this free." In that moment, under the starry New York sky, something shifted profoundly. It wasn't just about breaking through the barriers, they were carving out space where they could truly be themselves. The air buzzed with a mix of laughter and the heartbeat of connection, as the evening drew on. As dawn began to brush the edges of the horizon with soft pastels, Jamie realized they had taken those tentative steps together. They had illuminated the shadows cast by their self-doubt with shared laughter and open hearts. And in the context of all that uncertainty, they had found comfort in the chaos of living. Amid all the stories, possibility had taken root, a new canvas of experiences waiting to be painted. "Want to keep this going?" Tyler asked, glancing at the group around them lovingly. "Yes, we should definitely do this again," Jamie responded with palpable excitement. As they stood up, ready to embrace what would come next, she held on to the feeling of warmth swelling in her chest. She could hear the laughter of new friends, the purity of connection lingering sweetly in the air. But more than that, she felt it. This was the first of many adventures. Together, they discover how deeply one could connect when genuine hearts dared to unlock their stories. As they walked away from that park, side by side, Jamie turned to Tyler, her eyes alight with that newfound clarity. "Together," she repeated, and it felt like a promise wrapping around them. And in that moment, beneath the open sky of endless possibilities, they were both suddenly unafraid. Join us on this beautiful journey. Subscribe now to not miss the next incredible stories that await. Leave a like if you believe in the power of connection. Comment below with your thoughts on this transformation. What did this story mean to you? And don't wait not even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to feel the magic of authenticity. You need to show your support and be part of our growing family.